Hey, what's going on there, Pixel Enemy Revive? My name is Cloudedtruth, and today I've got some Battlefield 3 Endgame DLC footage for you all. Sure, most of you guys have been trying to feast your eyes on as much Endgame footage and videos as you can squeeze into your busy schedule. You've probably watched a lot of first impressions, initial thoughts, overviews, breakdowns of what basically, in a sense, the factual information that came with Endgame and just people's first thoughts and looks at the new maps and game modes. And you all may be a little bit tired of hearing that. I'm starting to get to that point as well. After all, it has been out for several days. Today in this video, though, I'm not going to be giving any kind of first impressions, initial thoughts, look at anything like that. I'm going to be going over tactics, and primarily in the game mode, Capture the Flag, which did come with this Endgame DLC, and it was a game mode that I was not exactly sure how it would turn out in Battlefield 3, and so jumping into Endgame the first time, I struggled a little bit. Obviously, in this, my first game, I had no idea what the map designs were like, no clue what was going on, and so I struggled just to, in a sense, get my bearings. But after playing this for a few days, for a while, as I primarily do play on the PlayStation 3. Actually, this is the only platform that I own Battlefield 3 on. I don't own an Xbox or PC, so I only play on PS3, and after playing for several days, I got a pretty good grasp on the map designs and on different tactics and ways to defend, which is what I'm going to be talking about with you guys today. The first clip you're watching right here is going to be on Keosauer Railroad's Capture the Flag in the T90 here just for a little bit, trying to secure our flag from the onslaught of the enemy team that came at the start of this round. Now when this clip fades out, we're going to go into some Nabondan Flats Capture the Flag, which is what the rest of this game, or the rest of this video's gameplay will consist of. Now, when playing Capture the Flag, everyone wants to just go after the enemy's flag and play the objective in order to capture and bring it back to your base. Clearly, that's something I've tried to do myself. However, for the most part, I am generally not very successful at it just because I'm not the best player in the world. And these dirt bikes for me, man, I really do suck at driving them. I don't know what it is. They're fun to use. I just can't drive them very well. So I decided to take on a little bit of a different role and play more of the defender type. Some people will like to call me out and say that's a camping thing. I would say absolutely not. It's almost identical to defending in Rush, except in this case you have to go either, in a sense, defend the flag that's yours or go attack the enemies that is not in order to go capture it. Now, today I'm going to be going over different tactics in terms of ways I have found to defend, ways I have found to work, different equipments, and a little bit of loadout information in terms of class and different pieces of equipment to use to your advantage. Now, throughout this video, you're going to be seeing me use the Engineer class, and I personally feel that this is the best class in terms of defense. It has the best means of, or had the best equipment to defend your flag the most effectively. Now, there's going to be a kind of funny clip coming up here in just a moment that I had to leave in this video because it's something that I'm still confused and scratching my head as to I don't exactly understand what happened. There's an enemy on a dirt bike coming up here, and he's going to come charging at me. I try to jump out of the way, and he hits me, and I don't die. So he turns around, I shoot him in the face, and the dirt bike flies up and hits me again, and yet I still do not die. Every time I've hit an enemy on a dirt bike, they've dropped over dead, were sent flying, whatever. They were killed. I was not right there, and that is something I do not understand. If you guys know of any circumstance that would justify why I did not die, please leave in the comment section below because I am still very, very confused as to why I was not killed right there. Now, Engineer, like I said, is going to probably be your best class for your means of defense. One of the pieces of equipment I have on, actually I do not have on right now, which I'll get a little bit later, is mines. And that's a topic I'll get into a little bit later on within this video. Now, something I'm doing right here, it does not matter what class you chose or what piece of equipment you have. It's just the fact of checking and looking around. That is one of the most important things as a defender you need to constantly be doing, especially on the Nabondan Flats. This is not Grand Bazaar Rush, where the enemies have like 2 or 3 corridors, and it's just a slaughter fest as you just mow enemies down because you know exactly where they're coming from. These guys can come from anywhere and everywhere, and expect that. This entire map is just a free roam, and always be looking, always be checking, because enemies like this guy I'm about to see once I turn around are gonna come, and you're not gonna see them, and oftentimes they'll shoot you in the back, and especially if they got 2 or 3 dirt bikes running together, that can spell doom for your defenders trying to defend the flag if they manage to sneak around and get behind you all. Now, I did pick up an enemy's kit after I ran out of ammo in my primary weapon, and on it he had mines equipped. Now, mines, of course, are a great source of defense. However, many people like to say, especially here, I would say within the last couple of days, that, well, really the endgame hasn't been out for that long, but the last day or two that I've played, many people are getting frustrated and angry with mines because they feel like it doesn't require skill. It's a very cheap tactic to use to defend. While you do have a valid point and a valid argument in doing so, and I respect you if that's your stand and belief, they are most certainly a fantastic means of defense. Now, in my personal thoughts, I kind of had mixed feelings about mines. I hate being killed by them, but at the same time, I use them. So it's not, I'm not trying to say they're cheap or they're not cheap, anything like that. It's just a matter of your own personal opinion. But they are, I would say, probably the best source of defense, especially against dirt bikes, because dirt bikes, you cannot see the mines fast enough to stop unless you have just incredible vision, or if they're spotted, you're just going to run over them. And sometimes, if you may see them at the last second, just kind of accept your fate and just get blown up, and as I've done quite a number of times. Something else I would like to say, especially in regards to the engineer class, is you notice that I have the javelin on, and that is something that I think really is kind of, it differs from map to map. Map like Nabondan Flats, where it's so freaking open and it's just, there's not a lot of cover, javelins are amazing. Those little dirt bikes are so hard to hit with RPGs and smalls that javelins will allow you to lock on and actually kill those guys. On maps like Keosauer Railroads or even something like Savalon Pipeline, they can be a little bit more difficult because there's more cover, there's more buildings on those maps, and so using javelins, the lock on time, it may be a little bit too long because an enemies can run behind cover on their dirt bikes or even the tanks, anything of that. So on a map like Nabondan Flats, I'd recommend using a javelin. Perhaps on those other maps, the RPG or small may suit you a bit better. Now, another thing I would like to mention is the weapon choice, especially in the engineer class. These maps, for the most part, are similar to Armored Kill and Aftermath size. These are by no means close quarters DLC maps. These are not Zebit Tower or Scrap Metal where you want your fast-firing AEKs or anything really like that. You want primarily your ranged weapons. Unless you're a guy like that enemy over there that was very skilled and good with the MTAR, very fast-firing engineer class weapon, I'd recommend sticking to weapons like the Scar H, which I personally feel is the best engineer weapon for these maps. Obviously, you can make an argument for any weapon, it's just a matter of personal opinion, but in terms of your choice, I'd recommend something that does a little bit better at range because that's where most of your engagements are going to take place at. Now, if you find yourself constantly, if you're in the defensive mode and kind of defending the flag, constantly shooting guys very close to you, then I would recommend changing it up. Run an A91, G36, M4A1, something that is a little bit better in close quarters as opposed to range. Another tactic which you guys probably have seen throughout this video is the fact of our tank not really moving and pushing forward. It's staying back at the base, and that I feel is how the tank should be used in Capture the Flag. Unless you're someone who is amazing with the tank, you're just a beast, you know you can assault the enemy base and just destroy them all and just wreak havoc, go for it. But other than that, I'd recommend staying back at your own base. Reason being is that while a tank is very powerful, it can dish out a ton of damage, it can take a lot of hits, it's very slow, and its mobility really restricts it in terms of it being an effective vehicle when having to get out of very tight and sticky situations. You want a dirt bike, you want a mobile AA Jeep, you do not want a tank if you have to rely to get out of the enemy base when you're getting surrounded just because they cannot accelerate and cannot move nearly as fast. Now, I mentioned the support and the recon class. Those are great classes to defend. As you can notice here, look how many buildings, shipping containers, little areas there are for support class players to hide into. Now, not just throw C4 down and wait, but just kind of stick around, and if you know that there's an enemy vehicle, the mobile AA, or if the enemy team pushes with their tank, you can pop out of these little crates, stick C4 on them, and blow them up. The recon class, also another fantastic class to play because those motion sensors are so helpful around flag bases. Just seeing where the enemies are at, especially if there's a guy that's trying to sneak around the back. If you have those motion sensor down, he'll pop up on that minimap, alerting him to your team to allow them to take him out. Now, all these tactics in this video is something that I have learned throughout my experience of playing Battlefield 3 Endgame for just a couple of days. These are by no means just the best, the pro tactics, the ones that are going to guarantee you victory. These are just a few things I've used that have allowed me to have success, and really, especially in this gameplay today. And from this point forward, as long as myself and my team implemented these tactics, the enemy team really, they did not do very well. I think we played one game, they did not even get a chance to grab our flag and move it out of our base. It was about that bad for them just because our defense was set up so well. Now, at the last ditch effort here, I noticed Our teammates could not secure the flag. I tried to go get it myself, and unfortunately I failed. I just want to say that even though you guys may be saying, oh, you didn't go after the flag, you didn't go try to cap it, you didn't do this, while that is true, I would like to say that defending the flag is just as important as assaulting it. You need to have good defense if you're going to give yourself a chance to win. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and thanks again Pixel Enemy Revive for allowing me to post on here, and I will talk to you guys later, hopefully in another video. See you all then. Bye.